crash and burn. When you take a L, that's just how you learn. You're stupid. When you've been through it, you gotta stand firm. Protect your name and just keep your word. Back to back with them all. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. Baby, I'm a trendsetter. I'm tryna take this to a whole nother level. Fly shit on me, I've been flocking with the fellas. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel. Fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life. And mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted. Suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted. Suited and we booted like it's televised. Gas like Margiela. I ride with the mob just like a good fella. God protect me, I was born a sinner. I could lose it all, but I was born a winner. Back to back with them all. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. I'm tryna do better. I watch for the people with the vendettas. I listen to mama, she say never settle. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel. Fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life. And mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted. Suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted. Suited and we booted like it's televised. They wanna see us crash and burn. When you take a L, that's just how you learn. You're stupid. When you've been through it, you gotta stand firm. Protect your name and just keep your word. Back to back with them all. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. Baby, I'm a trendsetter. I'm tryna take this to a whole nother level. Fly shit on me, I've been flocking with the fellas. I wanna see time through a whole new bezel. Fucking with the mob life. It's the mob life. And mob ties with the mob life. Suited and we booted. Suited and we booted like it's televised. Suited and we booted. Suited and we booted like it's televised. Gas like Margiela. I ride with the mob just like a good fella. God protect me, I was born a sinner. I could lose it all, but I was born a winner. Back to back with them all. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. Gas like Margiela. ride with them up just like a good fella. Yeah. God protect me, I was born a sinner. Yeah. I could lose it all, but I was born a winner. Yeah, back to back with them up. I've been gassing and ducking the law, and I never wanna sit with y'all. I'd rather get it with me and my dogs. And I know that they want us to fall, but they don't even know us at all. I don't want no fake love, cause you know I can't trust at all. I'm tryna do better. Yeah. I watch for the people with the vendettas.
Okay, we're now back for the New York session live stream. Just going to give it some time for you guys to join the live stream. So we are still in the consolidation range, or in the range area on the Euro JPY. I was waiting for price to break outside of this consolidation, either impulsively to the upside or to the downside, and we have not yet gotten that break. So hopefully you're going to get this break during the New York session, and a lot of pairs are now aligning for the New York session. I have a lot of pairs on watch, so I'm just going to get into it in a few. But first of all, I'm just going to give you some time to join the live stream. For those of you who were with me during the London session, then you already know that we were looking for an impulsive push coming out of this range on the Euro JPY. We did continue with the price action just playing in and around the range. So right now we are about to see if you're going to break out of the range. You start to look for entries, either to the upside or to the downside. Now I'm just going to go ahead and quickly give you guys the market forecast or breakdown for the New York session. We might be getting a lot of price action, the ideal price action that I like to see. So on watch for the New York session is Euro JPY. First of all, I'm just waiting to see if we can break outside of this consolidation, either to the upside or to the downside. Ideally, I would have wished if we could get the sell-off, because it will align well with the Wyckoff's market cycles. But also, if we do break outside with a lot of strong bullish pressure, buying pressure, then I will look to see if I can get involved with longs, because at the end of the day I try to look for markets that are breaking out outside of a consolidation of some sort. In this instance, we've had the consolidation. Now we are waiting to see if we could get a break outside of this consolidation during the London session, but it didn't. But we're now starting to break to the upside. It's about waiting to see with how much conviction are we going to break outside. We have a lot of strength in the initial push, so that we can look for pullback entries. So for now, I'm just going to remove these ones, but just know that on Euro JPY we are looking for a breakout, an impulsive break outside of this range. Now with Pound USD, as we were heading out of the, as we were closing the London session live stream, we were in this consolidation and we had just started to break out, and I was waiting to see if we could get strong momentum to take prices lower, to see if I could get involved with shorts, but we've not gotten that sort of price action. Instead we continued pushing lower, but not with a lot of strength. So we had this push, but with this candle here, with this large wick, it invalidated shorts around this area, and I talked about this just before closing the London session, and I was waiting to see how we were going to continue pushing lower, but we pushed lower, we broke this low with this candle, but then we got a retrace, and then after breaking this low again, you can see we broke with very weak candles with a lot of wicks. We got a retrace, we broke again, and then we retraced. So there is no sustained selling pressure, and now we've gotten a reversal. In fact, right now on this pair, I'm looking to see if I can get some longs, because we already have the impulsive push. So this right here is what we normally refer to, I'd look at as some sort of descending nature, with price breaking the lows and retracing, breaking the lows, retracing, breaking the lows, retracing. We don't get sustained strong bullish candles taking prices lower, and now we've gotten the reversal with some two strong bullish candles, and in the entire push you have like 3 bullish candles, which is ideal. So I'm waiting to see if we can get pullback entries at this level here, or any moment now. We might continue pushing higher, but this pair is now, I'm now looking for longs on Pound USD. On USD CHF, I'll be looking for shorts, because we had this market that has trended for quite a while. From last night and throughout the Asian session, we had this push, we had a correction, we had push, we had the correction, we had continuation of momentum, but around this point we started getting breaking and retracing, breaking and retracing, breaking and retracing. So normally whenever we get this sort of price action at the top of a market that has been trending, we start to look for reversals. So if you can get an impulsive push, I'm looking for a pullback to take prices lower. So in this instance, we've already started to get the sell-off, but not with a lot of strength. So I'm going to wait and see if you can get the strong selling pressure, breaking this low, and look for the first pullback to take short entries to these lows. So on USD CHF, I'm looking for longs, for shorts. On Euro JPY, as I've said, I'm waiting to see how we are going to break outside of this consolidation, either to the upside or to the downside. We did break outside just briefly, and then you can see with this wick, you've gotten a reaction and you're getting inside back the range. So you might still need to be a little bit more patient. On Euro JPY, it's very similar price action to what we were seeing on Pound USD, but in this instance, at this point in time, I'm not looking to take longs compared to what we have on Pound USD, and the reason is, although we've gotten this reversal, like in this push we had sustained momentum to the downside, especially this last push. So let me just move this here first. So this will have been my high and this will have been my low. So you can see the moment we broke this low, for instance, we broke this low, we pushed downwards for a while, then we retraced, we broke and retraced, we broke and retraced, but in this instance we got the break, then we got another candle to confirm momentum. But these two last candles with wicks and very small bodies was an indication that the selling pressure had reduced, but we still had to wait for price to break this high. So for me to have taken a trade, to be looking for entries on pound JPY at this point in time, I would have liked to see us breaking this low first of all and getting that sort of a descending nature or a range before we got this push. But since we got this push coming out of this push to the downside, sustained push to the downside, whenever I get this sort of reaction, we might get into a range. So I'm not looking to get involved on pound JPY just as yet. We'll have to give it some time to see if we're going to get continuation, a pullback, then continuation of momentum. Then I might look for pullback entries on that second impulsive push. Now on gold, as you can see here, this is what I was looking for. I was closing the London session live stream. So we are still inside this. We've now settled into some sort of a range. Initially we had this sort of price action that I was looking to see if we could break outside of the descending channel. We did break outside, but not with a lot of conviction. We went back inside, touched these lows, got a reaction, but you can see this price action is very corrective or wild in some sense. So I'd like to see if we can now break outside of this huge possible correction area. So if we can get a push to the upside coming out of this consolidation, I'll be looking to see if I can get long entries on the first pullback. But also, because we've now got it into this sort of a consolidation, if we do break to the downside very impulsively, I'll see if we have sustained selling pressure to see if I can look for shorts. On silver, I'm more of like looking for longs. Price action on gold and silver is very similar most of the time, or very correlated. But on silver, I'll have it on just possible watch, because I think this price action needs a little bit more development, or is not as clear as I can see on gold. And on the JP225, I'm waiting to see if I can get longs. We've had a market that has been trending lower for quite a while, so I'm looking to see if I'll see if I can get signs of exhaustion. So we might settle into a range here, and I'll wait to see if we can break outside of that range impulsively to the upside to look for pullback entries. But we might also continue pushing lower. So we might continue pushing low, and then we get this sort of a descending nature before we get the reversal. That will be what I'll be looking for in case I am to take long entries. So for today's New York session, I have a long bias on the Nikkei. I'm looking for longs on silver, but we can see this price action. Still, as I said, we might need a little bit more development. So after this push, if we can get some sort of a descending nature, that will be ideal. You can see with gold, we're already breaking outside of that area I was talking about, the consolidation. So because we've broken to the downside, we now want to wait to see if we can get another second candle, strong bearish candle to confirm momentum. Otherwise, we might just get back inside the range and continue ranging for a while. As I said, for today's London session, New York session, we might have to be really on, because we're getting a lot of movements on these pairs. So for Pound JPY, I said I'm not looking for entries, so I was looking for entries on Pound USD. We've already had the reversal, the impulsive push, so it's about if you're going to get the entry trigger around this area to take prices higher. Would I be willing to take a retest continuation entry? Let me just see. No. For me, I want to see a flag continuation entry right now. We'll be looking to see if we can get to these highs. So we can have quite a distance to cover in case we get the long entry. As I've said, on USD/CHF, I'm looking for shorts. With this sort of price action, we might range here for a while before we get the break. So let's just give that pair a little bit more time to develop. On Euro JPY, I'm still waiting to see how we are going to break outside of this consolidation. But for now, the focus should be on Pound USD because you already have the impulsive push. You're just waiting to see if you're going to get our entry trigger. I'd like to know what pairs you guys have on watch for the New York session. So right now we're waiting to see if we're going to get the pullback entry. Do you guys have any pairs on watch for today's New York session? And how has your trading week been so far? So far for me, it's a red trading week. In drawdown. Today actually took one trade on the swing strategy in the morning, which ended up being a loss, and I covered this in the London session live stream. Hopefully we can get some moves or some wins during this New York session. So for this New York session, I think the most probable setups will be either on this Pound USD, if you can get the entry in and around this area over here. On Euro JPY would be really ideal, because if you can get an impulsive push coming out of this consolidation, especially to the downside. So with gold, we see we got a retrace, complete retrace of that push. So this sort of price action, where you just get this push, reaction, and with very large wick, then we might continue with this range for a while, and we'll have to wait and see. But we could also be in a situation where we tested these lows with this very large wick before we get the buyer starting to take prices higher. But either way, we will be here to take advantage of the price action that you're going to get. So let's just give it some time. We have to be a little bit patient for the start of the New York session. We're waiting to see prices breaking outside of these consolidations. If you have any pair you'd like me to look at, you can also let me know. For now, let's wait to see if we're going to get the setup. If you do get the setup before you take the trade, I'll obviously let you know, so that those of you who would like to also get involved on that trade, you can. But I'd also like to know what bias you guys have based on the way you trade. You know, we all trade different strategies. If I was trading ICT concepts, I know that there will be many of us trading a very similar style. I don't like the strength of this candle in the pullback. So for now, I don't think I'll be taking any trades on pound USD because of the size of these candles in the pullback. There isn't a lot of difference between the size of this candle and the candles in the push to the upside. So this is not an ideal pullback for me to get involved. So I'm just going to stay out. We are likely to start range here for a while in case we continue pushing lower. Now, because we did 3 hours of the London session live stream, I'm going to try and keep this New York session live stream to maybe 1.5 hours. The first 1.5 hours. Just take a quick look at what's happening on the other pairs. With USD CHF, we need a little bit more development, so I'm going to leave it at green. On Euro JPY, we are still waiting for price to break outside of the consolidation. In GJ, I think this is going to really range for a while, so I'm not sure we're going to get the setup on GJ in New York, then in the New York session. also not sure you're going to get setups on gold with this erratic price action. We'll just leave it at green. On silver, as I've said, I'm looking for longs on silver. Just waiting to see if we can get the impulsive push to the upside. So I'm going to just leave this here, waiting to see if we can get push to the upside, take longs, because I can already see this is although prices we're still in a sort of a downtrend. I don't like the strength, the conviction of sellers. We still also have a lot of buyers in and around this area. You can see all these bullish candles. So I want to see the sellers getting exhausted completely, and then we can now look for an impulsive bullish price action. Then we can start to look for longs, but we might need to allow price to develop for a while. So with this pound USD, I'm just going to leave it at green for the moment, because I'm no longer looking to take longs in this area, just because of the strength of the pullback candle. This pullback candle, it is a warning sign for me. It is not the ideal sort of corrective price action I'd like to see after an impulsive push to the upside. Now, the only way I'm going to look to get involved with longs on pound USD right now is if we break this high and we break it impulsively. Then I'm going to start looking for pullbacks to see if we can take prices higher. But at this moment in time, I'm staying out of taking longs in and around this area. I still have not recovered from that long London session live stream. So with Euro JPY, we are still in this range. If we can get the break outside of this range impulsively and we get our entry trigger, that will be really an ideal trade. So we are waiting for price to break outside of the Euro JPY, outside of this range. So just quickly to have a look at the economic calendar. So we do not have any high impact news. Let me just refresh this. We do not have any high impact news today. We only had this one news on pound. This was during just before 1 hour before the start of the London session, which was ideal. And see, just getting news from Iran. Now, although we have a very clear trading day, nowadays you never know what Trump is going to do or what he's going to tweet, and this, strangely enough, really moves the market nowadays. But in terms of high impact news such as CPI, PPI, NFP, or such sort of news, we don't have any of that news being released, which is ideal. So just waiting to see if we can break outside of the consolidations, waiting for break outside of this consolidation on Euro JPY. And on gold, I'll also look to see if we can break outside of this consolidation. I was looking at pound USD, but the nature of the pullback was not ideal for me to get involved. I'm just going to let it play out. My main focus is on Euro JPY and on gold, for gold and silver, because with silver, price is more likely than not going to correlate. So I'm waiting to see if we can get an impulsive push after this market that has been trending lower for quite a while. As I always say, I like to buy when prices are low and sell when prices are high. So continuing to take shorts at this point in time, we'll be getting involved when selling when prices have really moved, which is not ideal. So we'll be waiting to see if we can get some strong buying pressure on silver. We'll be waiting to see if we can get some strong breakouts out of this consolidation. If we continue pushing lower, if we also break to the downside impulsively, we'll need to see really strong selling pressure for me to get involved, because whenever we're in a consolidation, we can break to the upside or to the downside, and it depends on how much momentum we get during that breakout for me to see if I can get continuation entries with the first pullback. So right now, for me to get involved, I'll wait to see if we can break this low of this candle with a wick. We break it with at least two strong, very strong bearish candles, because I can see we still have sellers taking prices lower. So I'll wait to see if we can get at least 2 or 3. I want to see 2 or 3. Let me just note that here. So I'm looking for 2 or more impulsive bearish candles. That will be, for me, the clearest indication of an impulsive push to the downside before I can now start to look for shorts. So for Euro JPY, similarly, I'm looking to see if we can get 2 or more impulsive candles coming out of the range. So if you get this impulsive push to the downside, that would be really ideal. If you can break outside impulsively, then I'll be looking for entries on that first pullback. Ideally, if you also break to the upside, I'll also be looking for the first pullback to take continuation entries to the upside. So generally, I'm just waiting for commitment on either side of the market on Euro JPY. What pairs do you guys have on watch for today's New York session? I was also looking for shorts on USD/CHF, but I'm expecting price to range a little. For now, the focus is on Euro JPY and on gold to see how we are going to break outside of those consolidations. So we did not take any intraday trades during the London session, but we had one trade on GJ, which was a swing entry, but I ended up getting tagged out of that trade for a 1% loss. You can go and later on look at the London session live stream just to see how things played out. Just quickly look at how price action has transpired. And remember, I was looking for longs here, but the nature of this pullback has invalidated long entries, so I'm just staying out. I'm going to wait and see if we can now come and break this high again and we get a sustained buying pressure. Then I'll look to see if we can get involved on the pullback. New York session. So for today, the two main pairs of watch are Euro JPY, gold, which are both we are starting to break outside of the consolidation on gold. So now that we've had this first strong candle, remember I want two or more impulsive bearish candles, and I was waiting to see for those two bearish candles breaking the low of this candle with a wick. This was my pivot low. So now we've gotten the first candle. We're going to wait and see if we're going to get a sustained push to the downside. We are really getting a sell-off on gold. So this right now invalidates longs at this point in time. I'm going to focus on seeing if we can get continuation of this selling pressure. We need another strong bearish candle. We've had the first candle. Now we wait for the second one to confirm momentum. Okay, so this second candle is important. We want to see it breaking this low and continuing with a lot of strength. And we also want to see it closing very strongly. We don't want to see it closing with a large wick. So we want to see that continuation of momentum to the downside. Yes, we've broken the low of this candle, which was what I wanted to see. Now it's all about how strong this candle is going to be. I want to see a strong candle, possibly taking us even lower, maybe to these levels. Then I can start to look for short entries on the pullback. So we have broken out outside of the consolidation or the range. It's now whether you're going to get the confirmation candle. We want to see this candle closing bearish, and it needs to be an impulsive candle, a really strong bearish candle. I don't like this sort of price action because you're not getting continuation of the sell-off. We're starting to get some buyers, so but we still have some time before this candle closes. So we're going to wait for the candle to close so that we can reassess. What pairs do you guys have on watch for today's New York session? And what bias do you have for the day or for the session? So we have continuing with momentum. So let's see how it's going to close. So I was waiting for price to break this low with 2 or more impulsive bearish candles. We've only gotten one, so we're waiting to see how this is going to close. I also have Euro JPY on watch. Also waiting for price to break outside of a consolidation on Euro JPY, and I'll get into it. But first of all, let's see how this candle is going to close. We might have to wait for another impulsive candle because I don't think this will be impulsive, but the good thing is that we've continued the momentum. But I'll not be looking to take any entries right now or any pullback entries because we did not get this candle is not strong enough. As such, we've not confirmed the momentum or the selling pressure. So wait and see how this candle. I like the fact that it has already broken the low of this candle. Now I want to see if this candle is going to close with a very strong bearish candle. So ideally, I like to see that the fact that we are still pushing lower. So we are still waiting for the second impulsive candle. Hopefully it's going to be this candle. So we have to wait for this candle to close. As we wait for that, let's quickly look at what's happening on Euro JPY. Are we still in the range? Yes. So with Euro JPY, we're also waiting for price to break outside of the consolidation, either to the upside or to the downside. So let's now focus on, let's go back to gold, see how price is continuing to develop. Remember, we're waiting for the close of this candle. We want it to close bearish and we want it to be a very strong bearish candle so that we can now start to look for shorts on the pullback. If you guys have any questions, you can ask in the chat. I don't think this selling pressure is going to be sustained from what I'm seeing on this candle. It's sort of getting same price action we got here, but we still have to wait for it to close, although we've continued pushing lower. So I'm still waiting for the confirmation candle. this candle closes like this, or with a large wick with very little strength, then that just goes to show that the selling pressure is reducing, and you might not get a sustained downtrend. Let's just wait for it to close. So we've gotten the close of the candle, but has it confirmed the selling pressure? Not yet. You can see you have wicks in this candle similar to the wicks in this other candle, but you're still pushing lower. So hopefully now we can get that confirmation candle. I'm looking for a very strong bearish candle to confirm momentum. So we've continued pushing lower, which is ideal. It's now about how this candle is going to close. We're still waiting for that strong bearish candle to confirm this impulsive push, so that we can start to look for shorts. Just take a quick look at what's happening on silver. Silver, I'm only looking for longs, so I'll wait for the reversal. Let's just focus on this gold, waiting to see if we can get the confirmation candle. It's really important to wait for the confirmation candle. I'd like to see this candle continuing to push lower. If this candle closes like this will be sort of ideal, but we still have to wait. As always, if you have any questions, let's engage in the chat. Price action on this candle is all over the place. Okay, so we've gotten the close, but is it impulsive? No. You can just see how strong this candle was, and the consecutive candles are just reducing in momentum. So this is just goes to show that the selling pressure is reducing slowly. So I'm not yet looking for shorts. Still waiting for that confirmation candle. So if this candle breaks the low of this candle and we continue pushing lower and it closes very strongly, then that will be the confirmation candle. But from what I'm seeing, we might get a reversal in price. So let's wait and see if we're going to break this low and we continue pushing lower and we get a very strong candle close. Otherwise, I won't be looking to get involved. Quickly look at what's happening on Euro JPY. We're just about to break out, so wait and see how we're going to break out. As I've said, I'm looking for 2 or more impulsive candles breaking this low of the range. We are starting to break outside. Let's just focus on gold quickly to see if we are going to get that confirmation. This candle is still pushing lower, but we want to see a very strong candle close. We have not yet gotten the strong bearish candle that I'm looking for to confirm this bearish momentum or impulsive push. Right now I cannot consider it as an impulsive push as of yet, although we are still pushing lower. I'd like to see that sort of strength. Now we need to close in and around this area. I don't want to see a retrace. Very important to wait for this candle to close. If it closes like this will be ideal. I don't like this retrace with this very large wick. Hopefully we can fill this gap and close in and around this area over here. You can come down and close at around this level. It will be ideal. only have a few seconds before this candle closes. Like it to close around that level so that we don't have a large wick. Close like this will be ideal. Really are selling off. Okay, so for now this now is the confirmation candle. Now I'm going to move this low to here. This will be my pivot high. So right now what I'd like to see for the pullback entry, I'd like to see candles that will hover around this area. First of all, I don't want to see, I want the first candle that does not break this low. That will be my first counter trend, but since you are continuing with momentum, I'm still waiting for the counter trend candle. At this point in time, I'm not overly worried about this last candle unless we have a very, very large wick. So I've already gotten the confirmation candle I was looking for. Remember, I was looking for 2 or more impulsive bearish candles. Already have that with this confirmation candle. So I'm going to wait to see if I can get an opportunity to short the market. It's all about getting, if I get my entry trigger. Let me just quickly look at Euro JPY. So we've just broken, but we still have to give it a little bit more time. Remember, I'm also looking for 2 or more impulsive candles coming out of the range. So we've gotten the confirmation on gold, so for now that will be my focus. For now I'm looking for shorts on gold. I'm looking to see if I'm going to get my entry trigger or my entry setup. So what I'd like to see right now to get entered, I'm actually will be looking for 2 types of entries. So now that we had this push, I'm waiting to see if we can get a pullback in and around this area to take shorts. Alternatively, I'll also be looking for a retrace entry. We get a pullback, break the low, then I'll look for the retrace. Like if the setups present themselves, I'll be able to talk you through the setup, and I'd also be able to let you know exactly when I'm about to take the trade if the setup presents itself. Right now it's just about waiting for the setup. Waiting for the pullback see if I can get an entry, but I don't like this last candle. I don't want to see a lot of buying pressure on the candle, but for now it's okay. We have gotten the impulsive push I was waiting for coming out of the range. Right now it's about whether or not you're going to get our entry. Right now, as things stand, I'm waiting for the pullback. As long as we don't break this low, the pullback, I'm still waiting for the first counter trend candle. So if this candle does not close below the low of this previous candle, then it will be the first counter trend candle, and then I'm going to look to see if I'm going to get the setup. So for those joining the live stream, we are waiting to see if we can get a pullback entry on gold to continue with this sell-off. We've already gotten the impulsive push I was looking for. This is probably going to be the first counter trend candle. So right now I'm now waiting for the entry setup. We might also get a complete reversal of this push, so it depends on the candles in the pullback. I don't want to see a lot of volume in the pullback candles. You need to get small corrective candles in the pullback. You want to see a lot of aggression in the pullback. So this is the first counter trend candle. So right now I'm waiting for the pullback setup, or for the flag setup. Now if we break the low, I will no longer be looking to take pullback entries, but for now I'm waiting for the setup. Now, as I've said, we might get aggressive action, we might get aggressive price action, and in case we get that aggressive push to the upside, then I will not be looking to take the pullback entry. Remember, I want to see small, very corrective candles in the pullback to take the short continuation entry. Let me just quickly see if Euro JPY has broken outside of the range. So I'm also waiting for a breakout to the upside or to the downside impulsively on Euro JPY. We did break briefly, but recovered. We did not get continuation of momentum, so this might just be an extension of the range for a while. So we're still waiting for 2 or more impulsive candles breaking outside of the consolidation. You've already seen the sort of price impulsive push I'm talking about, with this sort of the way we broke outside of this consolidation with a lot of strength. So we are waiting for the setup on gold. Do you guys have gold on watch for today, and what bias do you have on gold, by the way? Does it align with my bias, or some of you are looking for longs? Still waiting for my entry setup. But let me just confirm something first of all. Let's see if this price action aligns with price action on my broker's feed. Yeah, it aligns, which is ideal. I noticed that the last trade I took on gold, price action did not quite align with the price feed from one and that from my broker, which was not ideal. I'm starting not to like the way price action is looking, but let's see. We've had this initial pullback, so what I'd like to see after we got this push out, see price pushing lower a little. I'm taking out the highs, these highs, then I'm going to look for my short. Depending on how this candle closes, we might get our entry in the next candle. Let's just wait. We're just waiting for the entry trigger, and depending on how this candle will close, we might get the entry trigger on the next candle. So first of all, let me just try to start position sizing this trade. I want to see the amount of stop I will need. So I'd like the stop to be at least a little bigger than the size of the candles in the pullback. So 1391, so let's say if I use 14. But for position sizing, I'm going to use the feed from my broker, because as I said, with these indices and commodities, you need to be specific with the specifications from your broker. You can see there's some subtle difference. Use a 1400 stop. Let me just position size, start to position size the trade. So I'm just position sizing the trade, trying to see the amount of lots I'll use on the trade. And I'm just positioning sizing the trade. I'm executing on MT5. I'm just using this for position sizing. It's not like I'm going to place the trade there. This will be market entry orders. A market entry order, so I have to position size before. So I do have the position sizing. So right now I'm going to come back to see if we're going to get the setup, but not yet. In fact, we still have to wait for, because that candle that looked bearish actually ended up pushing a little bit higher. But if we do get the setup, I already know I've already done my position sizing for the trade, so I know exactly. Now, I don't like this price action. We are pushing higher and higher, so it's not ideal. But let's continue to see. Anyway, honestly, right now I don't like the fact that we've really pushed higher for quite a while. I was hoping we'll get the pullback entry in and around this area. If we're still pushing higher, we might come even up to this level. That will not be an ideal entry. I don't want to force the trade. Nah, I'm not looking for pullback entries anymore. This sort of price action is not ideal at all. You want to get the impulsive push, then a very small corrective pullback. The correction on this pullback would have been ideal, maybe at least to this level. But since you are still going deep inside this impulsive push, you might get a complete event reversal of this entire move. So let's wait and see. Now on Euro JPY, have we broken out? Not yet. We are still playing inside the range. Yeah, I'm definitely no longer looking for continuation entries to the downside because I've gotten contrary price action. I don't like this very deep pullback, and I've not yet even gotten my entry trigger. So for my entry trigger to mean price might retrace for a while, break, then I'm starting to look for my entry trigger, and for that to happen, like we've already moved too deep, already taken out almost the entire move, so I'll no longer be looking to take shorts on gold. And remember, like every time you get a push, you look for the pullback to take shorts, but if the pullback shows signs of a lot of strength, then you don't force the entry. So in this instance, I won't be forcing, and you can see price is still pushing higher. So sometimes you get the initial impulsive push coming out of the consolidation, but you do not get the entry that you're looking for on the pullback. So for this, particular pair, we might get into a very big range. So let's just wait and see how price is going to play out. So for my focus right now will shift back to Euro JPY and wait and seeing how if you're going to break outside of the consolidation. On pound USD, remember this pullback invalidated longs. If I was to take longs on pound USD, it will have been at the close of this candle, but also you can see this sort of very deep pullback covering almost the entire impulsive push is not ideal. So I'm going to stick to waiting for price to break outside of Euro JPY impulsively, and we're already getting the reversals on silver, but at this point in time I'm not going to be look for longs, because I can see whenever I get this sort of V-shaped recovery in price where I have a sell-off and an immediate recovery in price, it is not ideal at all. We are more likely than not going to settle into some sort of a range. So I'm no longer looking for entries on silver. With the Nikkei, I'm still waiting to see if I can get the consolidation. Although we are getting bias into the market, I'd still expect some consolidation before we can push higher. So right now I'm only looking at one pair for this session right now. I've been able to eliminate the other pairs. Although I'll still keep an eye out on USD CHF, see if you can get strong selling pressure, but I'm aware of this low, so I'd like to see us getting strong selling pressure, breaking that low before we can start to look for shorts. Now, as you have seen, you have to be patient, and sometimes the trade setup does not play out, so it's just the part and parcel and nature of trading. I was really looking forward to take shots on gold, but I've gotten contrary price feed and I don't want to force trades. As I was saying, since I was looking for a very corrective price action on the pullback, this is very aggressive for me to get involved. So for now, my focus is on Euro JPY, and I'll have a watch on what's happening on USD CHF to see if we can get really strong selling pressure, to see if I can be able to take shots. But this might not even play out anytime right now. So the focus for this session right now is on Euro JPY, waiting for price to break outside of the consolidation to see if you're going to break out aggressively to the upside. I'll be looking for longs on that first pullback, and if you break impulsively to the downside, I'll be looking for shorts on that pullback. As you've seen on the Audi US on gold, we were waiting for price to break outside of a consolidation, and we did get the breakout impulsively, but we've not gotten the continuation of momentum or the entry trigger that I was looking for. Instead, we look like market is going to recover that entire push, and then we're going to settle into even a larger range. Seems the internet is acting up a little. I hope the stream is really still good. So we are 1 hour 40 minutes into the New York session, 1 hour 35 minutes into the New York session. I've not been able to take any trade so far. I was waiting for a setup on gold, but we did not get the entry trigger. We got an contradictory price action, and as such, I have to stay out of the market. So for now, we're just waiting for price to break outside of the consolidation on Euro JPY, either to the upside or to the downside. Now, to the downside would be really ideal because it will align with the Wyckoff price cycles, where we get an uptrend followed by a distribution, then a downtrending market. Anyway, if you guys have any pairs on watch, I'd also like to know what you guys have on watch, or if you have any questions, you can let me know in the chat. Were you also looking for setups on gold? If you don't get any setups today, it will be fine. On the intraday, we still have another day tomorrow to trade, and we still have so many other days to trade remaining in the year. But if you can get an impulsive push coming out of this consolidation, that will be really ideal. Let me just take a quick look at what's happened on gold. So we've gotten starting to push lower, but as I said, I'm no longer looking for shorts on this particular pair. I'm just going to let it run. I'm not going to chase an entry. Continuation of the sell-off, but as I said, you don't get the entry. Sometimes this happens. It's not all the time that you're going to get your entry trigger, but this sort of price action in the pullback is not ideal. So for today's remaining part of the New York session, I'll be looking to see if we can break outside of this consolidation, as I've said. Then I'll be looking for entries. I don't get involved in trades whenever we are inside of the consolidation. I always wait for price to break outside of the consolidation. we have been in this consolidation throughout the Asian session, throughout the London session, and now into the New York session. If we do break outside, I'd expect us to break with a lot of strength, because at this point in time, buyers and sellers are in a state of equilibrium. So, and for me, I only get involved with trades whenever we have an imbalance in buying and selling pressure. And when we do have an imbalance in buying and selling pressure, that's when price moves in one specific direction, like in this uptrend. This is a situation in which buyers are clearly in control of the market, where we have more buyers than sellers in the market. That's when prices are pushed higher. And in case we get more sellers than buyers in the market, then price is going to start pushing lower. So that's what I normally look for. I look for an imbalance in buying and selling pressure to be able to take advantage of trending markets. Now, sometimes you may get trades and sometimes you don't take trades. And if I say that I just want to stick to streaming to the days in where we have very efficient markets, then I would be able to show you the other side of trading, where you just have to be patient and wait and not take trades. But I'm sure that all of you have certain trading days which are slow. It's good that I get to stream on either market conditions, so that we can get an unfiltered look into the trading strategy, or into the way I do trade the markets. Now, I'd also like to point out that I usually stop trading, especially on the intraday, at 6 p.m. Kenyan time or 4 p.m. London time. So right now it's at 4:43. We are about to head into the last hour of my active trading. I don't trade past 3 p.m. London time or 6 p.m. Kenyan time. Now, on the swing approach, I might get involved with trades during the Asian session. If I see a setup, I might get a setup during the Asian session, but I do not have to sit and stay awake during the Asian session to take the trade. And I talked about this even in the London live stream when I was breaking down the when I broke down the GJ trade that I took. So we have just one more hour for me to be actively trading the markets for today. If I don't get any setups within that 1 hour, then I'll have to close my trading day at that and wait to get back to the charts tomorrow. So do you guys have any questions? And by the way, where are you guys joining us from? In case it's your first time here, then you're very much welcome. I do these live streams on Monday to Friday, mostly during the London session, but from time to time I also do the New York session. not sure if we're going to get this break that I'm looking for, this impulsive push today, because as I've said, we only have one more hour before I normally stop to trade. So if you are to get the entry, it will be really ideal if you can get it right about now. Or just before the start of the next hourly candle, or the next hour. Or maybe we might get this breakout during the Asian session. So those who trade the Asian session might get the chance to take advantage of this move. But I do not trade the Asian session on the intraday. As I said, I only execute trades on the during the Asian session in case I have entries on the swing approach, but that is very rare. Have you guys taken any trades today? For those joining, we're waiting to see if we can get an impulsive push outside of this consolidation, either to the upside or to the downside. The most ideal scenario will be if we can get impulsive selling pressure coming out of the consolidation to take prices lower, because as I said, it just aligns well with the Wyckoff's price cycles. But we only have another 1 hour where I'll be actively trading. Stop trading at 6 p.m. Kenyan time, or just after the first 3 hours of the New York session. I only trade the first 3 hours of the New York session, but I do start my trading at the start of the London session, or just 1 hour before the London session. If I can get some positions just before the London session, I might take an entry, but generally I trade the London session into the New York session. Just trade the first 2-3 hours of the New York session, and that's it for my intraday trading. Now, I had intended on doing this stream for 2 hours, because I'd earlier done a London session live stream for 3 hours. Because we've not yet gotten the price action that I was looking for, let's look at what's happening on gold. You can see price on gold is just hovering in and around this area, and we might continue just hovering in and around that area for a while. But as I said, I was no longer looking to get involved with shorts on gold. And so for the remaining part of the New York session, my focus will be on Euro JPY. Hopefully we can get that impulsive push before I step out of the markets at 6 p.m. Kenyan time. So you guys have any questions? If you have any questions at all, just let me know. I'll address it. For these last few minutes of the live stream. So as we head into the last hour of my trading today, I will be looking to see if I'll be able to get selling pressure coming out of this consolidation, or if we're going to get strong buying pressure coming out of the consolidation to take pullback entries. Now, for today, on the intraday strategy, I've not taken any trades. It's largely been corrective, just as the markets were during the yesterday's live session. So for 2 days now, we've not taken any trades on the intraday, although I did get an entry today in the morning on the swing approach on GJ, but that trade ended up being a negative 1% loss. And I did go through that trade during the London session, so in case that is something you'd like to look into, you can go and check the pre-recorded video which has been uploaded, and you'll be able to see how I traded the London session. But for the New York session, we've not gotten any entries, and I'm now waiting to see if you're going to get the impulsive break outside of the consolidation on Euro JPY. This is the only pair that I have on watch currently. Now, since there are no questions, I will end the stream at the top of the hour, just before we get into the last hour of the New York session. Sitting down for almost 7 hours today, I'm really looking forward to today's workout. I'm not sure if I'm going to go for a run or if I'm going to head to the gym, do some strength workouts. I really need to just release the pressure and just be able to relax. What do you guys do to unwind after the trading sessions? I'm also try to see if I can do a day in the life video, maybe tomorrow or on Saturday. If I do the day in the life, then I'll probably not do the New York session tomorrow. So tomorrow I might just do the London session maybe for 1.5 hours, because I'll be shooting the live stream consecutively, the day in the life video, but I've not decided if I'm going to do the vlog tomorrow or on Saturday. Do you guys watch the vlogs? We've had really corrective markets this week, especially on the intraday levels, but we still have one more trading day. And by then, normally Thursdays and Fridays are the most profitable days. These are the days in which I see a lot of ideal price action, with a lot of trends in the markets, Thursdays and Fridays, compared to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we still have one day to go tomorrow. And the good thing is we do not have any high impact news coming out. So if you look at the market calendar for tomorrow, you can see it's clear. We don't have any high impact news, which is really ideal. So hopefully you can get some amazing setups tomorrow. So right now, because we don't have any questions, I'll probably end the stream. And as I've said, I'll be stopping, I'm stopping my trading at 6 p.m. Kenyan time. So we still just have one more hour. I still just have one more hour. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get the sell-offs during that, or the breakouts during that 1 hour. So I'll just wait and see. And if we do get the setups and I do take the trades during this last 1 hour, which I don't think is going to be likely, then I will update you with a community post, or I will go over the trade during, or even just post a video just to break down the trade, and I will get back to you on that particular trade during tomorrow's London session. So I hope to see you guys during tomorrow's London session. If you do trade the London session, I know that most of you are active during the New York session, but if you do trade the London session, then I'll be back tomorrow just for the start of the London session to give you guys market forecast and to trade with you for the first 2 to 3 hours. So with that said, I hope to see you during tomorrow's London session, and adios till next time.